No, we're not doing that joke.
Isn't you mentioning it basically making the joke?
Happy Death Day. Listening to music by a guy who died. Why do we keep doing Groundhog Day references? This is a completely different movie.
Yeah, it's not as if the film itself would be stupid enough to make a Groundhog Day reference.
Hello one, hello all, welcome to a Happy Death Day review. Please excuse the audio issues. Still don't have my own place, but I do have a visitor.
Hi! I'm a visitor.
Do you want to explain who you are in case, for some bizarre reason, people don't know who you are?
Yeah, my name's Emily. I have a channel called Emily's Adventures in Horrorland, which is very difficult to abbreviate, and I review horror movies, etc., which this kind of was.
Sure it was. Happy Death Day, far from original, taken in the vein of Groundhog Day, and films like it. The Chiron will certainly let you know other films like it. It actually got pretty good scores on Rotten Tomatoes, which was kind of shocking going in.
You were immediately skeptical.
Right. There's been some movies that have been highly scored that have been a little suspect, I guess.
Examples on screen.
Yeah, like these. But yeah, it was,
fine.
Yeah, premise, girl wakes up.
Repeatedly killed at the end of each day, has to try and figure out who her killer is and put a stop to the endless loop of perpetual hell, etc.
Right. I think the similarities to Groundhog Day are pretty heavy in the fact that our main character is kind of
dislikable.
Yeah, but done less favorably in this movie.
Well, she comes off as more vapid, disrespectful of other people's feelings. Bill Murray was just kind of a jerk.
Yeah, well, yeah, there was comedy in it. Like, he was, the differences between the dislikable characters in Groundhog Day and Happy Death Day is Bill Murray, like, the people around him were a little strange. And he was just being snarky and sarcastic. Like, oh, why would I want to go to this shitty town? It wasn't like, I hate everything. The difference is this girl opens up and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Do you have to be
The first 15 minutes are kind of unbearable.
Yeah.
The whole vapid sorority girl thing we've seen done a million times.
And there's times where it feels like they're trying to be funny about it.
Yeah,
like,
or what do you call it? The kind of head thing that they do.
Yeah, one actress in particular, the acting with the head was just too much, and biatch and just...
Oh, biatch. I wanted to walk out when they said that.
Yeah, there are a lot of college trashy girl cliches. But yeah, it kind of...
It improved.
Evened out. Yeah, you don't like the lead in the beginning, but it evens out a bit, and then you're trying to figure out who it is that is the killer. So if you're looking for Groundhog Day with a bit of a horror twist, that's what I would say. Who would like it? Source code. So, like, I mean, it's been done. This type of premise has been done a bunch. I mean, you could even say Butterfly Effect to a degree.
It's got the Scream thing going on with the masked killer with poor visibility running around. Yeah,
and there's a bunch of like homages.
I saw a promo video where it listed the rules of horror for this movie, which I thought was interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Interesting.
No? I'll send it over to you at some point.
And maybe it'll be down here.
Maybe.
So, yeah, if you're looking, if you think, wow, Groundhog Day is great, but I really wish it would be a little...
Bill Murray got killed.
Yeah, well, he does get killed. He kills himself. I just wish it was a little more vapid and... a
lot of the story beats are the same. The scenes where she ostensibly doesn't care what she does during the day because she knows it's going to end not very well for her.
Yeah, it's done more in a sorority girl fashion, where walking nude through the
Thank God Bill didn't do that.
Yeah, yeah, like he drove on train tracks because he said fuck it. She says fuck it, and I'm gonna walk through the.
My hair's pink now.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna eat carbs.
That's literally what happens too. Yeah, so it's a different beast, but it's similar.
Do you think she was too unlikable?
To start, yeah. I mean, I don't think they pay it off well enough, but she gets less unlikable. Like,
I guess it's done to make more suspects, but everyone kind of has a motive.
yeah. By the 20-minute mark, you're like, anybody in this movie could be the killer because she's an absolute bitch. So like, I'm glad they scaled that down a little bit. This is the same guy who wrote and directed Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, which again a little less meat on the bones in that movie. So
Okay, supernatural-ish killer. It's not made clear in the beginning, but the whole music box in the alley thing.
yeah. If you look back on it, it's kind of hard to figure.
I don't know if that's a general trope of making the killer supernaturally strong even when there's no reason for them to be. And it kind of misleads the audience as to who the killer could be.
Right.
The dude looks taller than her, is certainly stronger than her.
And convenience seems to be. I mean, there's a scene where she's in a car and, I mean, without some sort of GPS Find My Victim app, I don't know how that was. I mean, it's a horror.
I guess it tells you that it's somebody close to her because they have to know her various haunts.
Sure.
I'm making excuses.
Well, yeah. I mean, what I was gonna say was if you're in thinking, oh, she dies but lives again the next day and repeats it. If you're in for that, then you know, somebody being able to find this girl, it shouldn't be that big a stretch.
So when you compare this movie to something like Source Code, which is a similar thing, finding the killer, only a certain amount of time to do it.
Repeating the same thing over and over again.
I feel like in this movie, the characters surrounding our heroine are given a bit more focus, and possibly for good reason, since the killer is likely someone known to her. Source Code, not so much. We meet that one lady who is kind of bland. I don't...
Are you speaking of Michelle Monaghan?
Maybe.
Okay. Bland. Okay. His love interest?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. But it's... Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, but the difference in...
Technically, it's the other dude's love interest.
Right. This spoiler. Source Code is like the same 8 minutes, though. Like, it's not like a stretched out time.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's.
I mean, in this movie, she doesn't have all the time in the world. But I think the idea with Groundhog Day was that it was a continuous. You could be doing this for all eternity. In this, her days are kind of numbered.
Oh yeah, right. Well, yeah. Well, Happy Death Day. I mean, well, the difference between Source Code and Happy Death Day is Source Code. You only really give a shit, like, you know, not only, but you're really focused on Jake Gyllenhaal and what he's doing. Where Happy Death Day, it feels like you're more like, man, who did she fuck over enough that they want to kill her? And you're more interested in how she's treating them, because she's vapid. She's the opening 20 minutes. You're just like, can we just get to the killing part, please?
Yeah.
It looked good. It was quite shot well. It tropey, but still not lazy.
Yeah, there was some what do we call them? Twisty Dutch angles.
Yeah, the Dutch angle that just managed to.
The guy with the camera is just falling over.
Yeah, a good drunk. If you play GTA 5, it's kind of that drunk cam. Yeah, they did one where
she's hit in the side of the head and falls over, and it's the pillow, and the next day.
There's that. There's the third or fourth day, and she's like really fucking wonked out, and it's like this fisheye, blurry type thing. It's not lazy. I mean, for a horror movie, it's certainly not lazy with some of the cinematography and stuff. So that was the sound.
Even if the premise could have been done better, I feel like something like Deja Vu did kind of interesting things, like with the cam thing in the car that he's trying to follow with one guy on the road, but also in the past. So he's
oh right. it's been forever since I've seen that. But yeah, like, you know, movies like this, especially, I mean, Blumhouse, they're not stupid. They put a little bit extra money into things. They don't make Rings.
No.
Or
so what else have they done?
I think they did Get Out too.
Really?
Yeah, they're like a more mainstream version of A24, which you probably don't. Music.
A lot of studio produced songs in the soundtrack, which, given the, you know,
it's very pop bubble gummy. I mean, there's.
But, I mean, they're college kids. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, I got a very late '90s horror feel, like an urban legend. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I got a very that kind of feel from it. But those movies, you know, I can watch those today and not know when they were made, because the music's not like, oh, that's that one-hit wonder from that month that movie was released. Where this, I think it'll be dated very, very quickly.
Very, very possibly, yeah.
With the
selfie thing that the girls keep bringing up, and the I don't know.
Yeah. The score wasn't incredibly present, but there's a weird sound design for the killer that I'm impressed with. It's not Halloween, it's not Friday the 13th, but it was something. But not really. You know, it's not a soundtrack you're going to go out and buy. Or a score, at least, you're not going to go out and buy. So if you don't want to be spoiled, leave.
Leave now.
Okay. So it ended kind of funky.
There was the whole fake out with the killer, which, from a storytelling point of view, didn't really make any sense. It had to be somebody that we'd seen before, as opposed to a guy we glimpsed on a poster or the TV.
They do this thing where there's this man wanted. You get a flash of it on TV for a second in the first act, and then presto, the third act, he's a big deal, and it's just like, what? Who fucking cares? What does this have to do with anything? And he has nothing to do with our
this
lead.
Greasy Brad Dourif looking person.
Yeah, exactly. And it was not a red herring, but well, yeah.
Yeah, we were sat there going, if this guy turns out to actually be the killer, we're going to be annoyed.
Yeah, it was a little fucking stupid.
Then she does the whole redemption arc thing, lives through another day, and that somehow leads her to figure out who the killer actually is.
Falls in love with a guy that only knows her for about 18 hours, which is, you know.
Well, more for her.
Neither here nor there, but...
So I was thinking it was going to be him. There were some things set up that kind of, sort of made sense, like the whole symbolism of dying on her birthday and his having studied the loop.
Right.
I can't remember, but
well, the one good thing that they did was they planted these little seeds. Like, Dad, she never picked up the phone from her father, and you said, well, you know, it could be her dad that's the killer. And it's like,
that was mostly a joke, but it was possible.
Yeah, but in this movie, it was like, you know what? And then there was that conversation she had where she mentioned the one candle, and it was like, but it wasn't to the right person where she discussed the one candle thing. Ended up being a bit more on the head than you would expect.
And then it turns out to be the roommate who was... I thought it was set up too obviously at the beginning. Like all the death glares, I thought, well, she's a red herring if I ever saw one.
See,
and then we forget about her for half the movie, and then she comes back at the end.
Yeah, she's never around, which I guess helps the...
The scrawny stick of a girl who for sure couldn't punch the glass in a car window.
Yeah, there's some really violent things throwing around of bodies and climbing and just a lot of
knife swinging.
That 98-pound girl did that. I don't know about okay, but yeah, and they don't really wrap it up. She kills the chick who's trying to kill her. And
no consequences, really. The police don't talk to her.
Right? Yeah. She
just goes to a diner or a cafe.
Her sorority mates are giving interviews on television, and she's already done with the event.
Her dad calls her like, "Are you okay? Where are you even?"
I'm having a coffee at a diner. We're good. The cops are talking to the roommates right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't explain why she's stuck in this loop, and they don't tell you how she fixed it. It's apparently,
no, not really. The redemption didn't work first time around, so
apparently the nurse girl has some sort of power.
Maybe.
Maybe it was the poison cupcake. That was where all the power was.
The cupcake did it. Well, no, it actually did.
Maybe maybe the nurse has to live through the day over and over and over again because
that would piss you off, wouldn't it?
That's a sequel. It'll be like Happy Death Day 2, the cupcake.
Inning.
Oof.
Sorry, that was bad.
On this channel, no.
We're cutting this.
So what'd you think?
I thought it was okay. If you could get through the first 15 or so minutes, then it's just about bearable. You know, the character does improve somewhat, and it has a lot of potential that they could have maybe done something with, but other than that, fine.
So Emily on her channel, she does... Man, it's just impossible to not have sound, huh? So Emily on her channel, she does a rating system of jam sandwiches out of 10. So Happy Death Day would be what for you?
I'd say a solid 6.
6.
And a third.
And a third. And what was Jason Lives again?
I don't remember.
I don't think it was higher than a 6.
No, maybe less. Oh dear.
So Stuckman this morning, and now you. All shitting on the highly, highly better Jason Lives.
Jason's better killer, but this has, I don't know.
Oh my god, Jason Lives is better with everything because it's funny, it's actually kinda. Technically, it follows through with what they've presented you, but
so basically, my opinion is invalid.
Yeah,
and we're gonna go straight.
We're gonna Lomax Emily's opinion out. Yeah, I don't do scores, but it's ranked. I don't know. You'll see it somewhere. Not quite it good. Certainly not quite Get Out good. If you're in a horror mood this month, I would take Happy Death Day over Ice Cream Truck. That's for certain.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cult of Chucky, stay home, leave that one. Yeah, you know what? I would actually rather watch Happy Death Day again than Cult of Chucky again, and that's quite unfortunate because I was really looking forward to Cult of Chucky. So somewhere in the middle. It's fine, but you know, most people don't like paying $10 to go to the theater, so it's certainly nothing spectacular or new. I mean, what's neat is you could tell that they were doing homages in this movie. There's a 16 Candles replication towards the end that was just. Have you not seen that?
I have.
The you know what I'm talking about, right? So it's cute. It's cute in its unoriginality, but certainly just as enjoyable at home. But if you're in a rush to, I don't know,
see something
that, you know, if you've seen it 4 times already and, you know, can't wait for Jigsaw, which actually looks kind of all right from the trailer we saw.
Better than Saw 7.
7, certainly better than 7, better than Cult of Chucky. And both of us will be on Drum Dums week 5 for 31 days of, what did he call it? Shit.
October?
I've done it every year and I don't know it. Sorry, Lee. Week 5, 31 days of October, I think it is. 31 days of Halloween. So, what do I normally say?
I'm CP, have a day.
Cheerio.
Disagree with CP? Let us know in the comments.